Tonight on WBOC News at 6.
I'm Todd Carley.
And I'm Steve Hammond. We're covering all of Delmarva tonight.
We're learning more about 3 young children killed in a Sussex County house fire, how people are coming together following that devastating discovery.
A new law in Delaware aims to keep people from dropping contraband into prisons with drones. I'm Tom Lehman. I'll tell you why some believe it will be effective and others don't necessarily agree.
A dredging disruption. Work begins at the Ocean City Inlet, but some question why it is happening on one of the busiest weeks of the year on the water.
Well, scientists say there could be more crabs on your dinner plate soon, but there's a catch. I'm Amy Lou, and what it could mean for the Chesapeake Bay's health.
Now, WBOC News at 6, Delmarva's news leader.
These are the faces of 3 young girls killed in a house fire in Longneck. Tonight, Delmarva is devastated and determined to rally around the family. Those faces you just saw belong to 4-year-old twins Skylar and Veronica and their baby cousin Amaya.
All 3 lived under the same roof in the Potnet's Bayside community. Family members say the girls' mothers were sisters and lived at this home on Scarp Street. A little sister of the twins was safely removed from the fire. The 3 girls were found in a back bedroom where firefighters found the bulk of the fire. WRDE's Madeline Overturf joins us live outside that home in Longneck. Maddie, you spoke with the family today.
Steve, the family is actually here right now, and they were here earlier too, removing a few items before parts of the trailer were boarded up. They declined to speak on camera, but say they are grateful for the outpouring of support they are receiving right now, of which there is plenty.
A makeshift memorial sits outside the charred home for twin sisters Skylar and Veronica Marchuk and their cousin Amaya Gentner. Chopper 16 shows fire investigators on scene. The cause of the fire is still unknown, as are the circumstances. Radio traffic shows the confusion firefighters faced, with the Indian River Volunteer Fire Company saying it was given conflicting reports on potential victims.
I'm on the scene, and everybody is out of the house. There's heavy smoke showing and flames.
But minutes later,
Residents just advised that there is still kids in the house. Since we're still in the process of searching, I haven't found anything yet.
And roughly 30 minutes after being dispatched, a devastating discovery.
There's 3 victims been found in the back bedroom.
Fire marshals don't know where the fire started yet, but say they haven't found any working smoke alarms yet.
We ask everybody, to use this maybe as a reminder to go home, check your smoke alarms, talk to your children, and have a fire escape plan.
The community is coming together for the girls and their mothers and for each other. A GoFundMe has been created to help the survivors, and a local restaurant and nonprofit community organization will help pay for the girls' funerals.
We're located in the same community where the fire was. Actually, the smoke did start piling up right behind us, so the whole staff saw the smoke and they could tell something was going on. And when we got the news, it was heartbreaking for everybody here and everybody in the community.
We can only assure and make sure that the children understand that we're there with them to stand tall, to protect them. Children think concretely, and they're thinking, can this happen to my house? Can this happen in our neighborhood?
It's hard to find glimmer of hope in times of tragedy like now, but this is really a time where our community comes together and pulls together as one to help each other out, even complete strangers. It really hits home with all of us. I mean, probably like you, I've been upset, crying, and I don't even know these guys, but we'll do this for the greater good and give them the send-off they deserve.
As a family mourns, strangers offer support for 3 lives lost too soon.
A prayer vigil is set to begin in about 30 minutes at the Snowball Stand here in Longneck. Now, for information on all those groups that are organizing to help the family, their names and how you can help, you can head to our websites, WRDE.com and WBOC.com. With coverage you can count on, I'm Madeline Overturf in Longneck for WBOC.
All right, Maddie, thanks. We are learning partial engine failure caused a pilot to make an emergency landing on the Ocean City shoreline last month. This now viral video shows 23-year-old Trevor Deal ditching his Cessna on the shoreline near 22nd Street. An NTSB report says the plane was being used to spot fish as part of a commercial operation. That's when the engine began to shake. When Dio realized he couldn't make it to the OC airport, he navigated it toward the surf, avoiding bystanders on the beach. He then swam away from the plane with no injuries.
Some changes on the leaderboard on this day 4 of the White Marlin Open. Our Matt Pensick is live at Harbor Island Marina tonight. And Matt, how about this? The angler at the top of the White Marlin board has been there once before.
He has indeed been here before. It's the 2018 champion. Just minutes after the scales open here, day 4 at 4 o'clock at the Harbor Island Marina, the boat, the Fish Whistle, out of Indian River, made its way to the docks, flying a flag, indicating it had a White Marlin on board. And boy, did it ever. The new leader, 79.5 pounds, the angler, Tommy Hinkle. The 2008 champion is the new leader of this event. So we have a Delmarva angler aboard a Delmarva boat and a fish that's worth $1.46 million. This was the third and final day of fishing for the Fish Whistle, and they now have the fish to beat. All right, let's take a look at the leaderboard. There is Hinkle's fish, 79.5 pounds, and that bumped Nathan Walker, who had held the top spot the entire tournament from day 1 right until 4 o'clock, or a little after 4 this afternoon. He's down to number 2 at 74 pounds. In third place, Michael Wagner, 73.5 pound White Marlin. Blue Marlin category, still just that one on the board. Craig Dickerson brought that in Tuesday afternoon. That weighed 465.5 pounds, worth about $740,000. Now coming up on WBOC News at 7, we will hear from Hinkle about his big fish on this big day, day 4. With coverage you can count on, I'm WRDE's Matt Pensick, live at the 2019 White Marlin Open in Ocean City for WBOC.
All right, Matt, thanks. Staying in Ocean City, it's the first day of dredging near the inlet. The Army Corps of Engineers will be working for 5 days to remove sediment to make it easier for boaters to navigate the channel. But it is the timing of the operation that worries some. WBOC's Isabel Sanchez is live in Ocean City tonight. And Isabel, some see this project as inconvenient but necessary.
Steve, Todd, they all agree this needs to be done. It's just the timing what is upsetting. We are right now in the inlet here in Ocean City, prime spot to see those boats coming in from the ocean. I'm not kidding. Maybe a minute or 2 minutes ago, we actually saw Catch 23, Michael Jordan's boat, coming here right through. And as you can see, there's plenty of other people that are also having the same idea, coming and seeing the boats. And that's, the high volume of the boats, along with the presence of that large dredging machine or vessels, is what concerns about the traffic here in the inlet. As boats go in and out of Ocean City,
it's definitely an inopportune time.
The curry tug used to dredge is also making its way through the inlet.
It's been a common occurrence, particularly late in the summer and the early fall.
Mark Sampson has worked in the sports and fishing industry in Ocean City for 30 years.
It needs to be moved over here.
He was out fishing this morning when he saw the dredging vessel.
So normally what they do inside of the inlet is where they're picking up the spoil, the sand and stuff, and then they go out the inlet and they head south and they release their load of sand.
The 5-day dredging operation led by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers started today, on a crucial day for many boaters participating in the White Marlin tournament.
It's crowded out there with all the spectators and the boats in the tournaments.
Mark Hoos owns a charter boat in Ocean City. He's been out and about this week taking anglers to the sea.
It's busy, probably the busiest week of the year down here.
He says although it might be an inconvenience because of the timing, he sees the need for dredging in the area.
A lot of the clam boats have moved up to Atlantic City because of the depth of the inlet, and now it's starting to hinder the sports fishing. We've had several boats bump bottom this week because of the shallow hump there right at the inlet.
A necessary project during one of Ocean City's busiest weeks. We spoke with the Army Corps of Engineers today as well, and they say they don't expect much of a disruption because the dredging vessel would be located in those shallow areas where boaters don't want to go through anyways. Reporting live here in Ocean City, Isabel Sanchez, WBOC News, Delmarva's news leader.
Well, to Delaware now, you can expect more than just a slap on the wrist if you were to decide to try to use a drone to airdrop something into a Delaware prison and get caught. WBOC's Kent County Bureau Chief Tom Lehman reports the state believes a harsh penalty will deter criminals. Others, they're not so sure.
The whir of a drone flying in the air is easy to hear. But correctional officers do not want to hear that sound over the state's maximum security prison, which had its first encounter with the drone last year.
Previously, the law in Delaware was basically a slap on the wrist.
Delaware Correctional Commissioner Claire DeMatteis is backing a new law that makes it a felony to deliver contraband into a prison with a drone.
There were no penalties if you drop contraband. So we're trying to send the message, don't do it.
DeMatteis wants to avoid incidents like one in South Carolina when authorities said an inmate in 2017 escaped from prison using wire cutters dropped by a drone.
The law is totally pointless.
Former Vaughn inmate and state prosecutor Ken Abraham points out state law already makes it a felony to introduce things like drugs, weapons, or cell phones into prisons, which are also considered no-fly zones by the federal government.
It doesn't matter whether you bring it in your underpants or drop it from a drone.
State Representative Steve Smick defends the law, saying it targets a sophisticated way of delivering contraband.
A drone can introduce highly dangerous instruments, large instruments that would otherwise be at least found.
A new law targeting airdropped contraband at Delaware prisons.
DeMatteis would not talk about any specific security measures related to drones at Delaware prisons, but she did note that there is technology out there that allows correctional officers to detect when a drone is approaching a prison. Reporting live in Dover, Tom Lehman, WBOC News, Delmarva's news leader.
More blue crabs in Maryland waterway. Sounds like it should be a good idea. Well, coming up, why some scientists say it could be worrisome.
Also, a historic school gets a national honor. We'll take you to a special ceremony held today in Sussex County.